Top to morning, ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If? Yeah, Deku created the universe. So, so without further ado, let's go into explaining what goes down. So, in this alternate timeline, yes, I will add zooming into this What If, but that's besides the point. But yeah, Zuko will have like his quirks and powers inside of his DNA instead of or into his genetics, should I say. So, and his genetics is unstable, so that he's like a ticking time bomb, basically. So, yeah. So that's why I have to explain this. So now let's jump it right into the what if. So Zuko and Zumi been born, and Zuko's timer started. So he only, yeah. So then, so at age of 4, he went to the quirk doctor. And of course, the quirk doctor tells Zuko that he doesn't have a quirk. But Zumi does have a quirk. As after they left, the quirk doctor was sweating bullets. Like, he can't believe that he could sense inside of Zuko's body, like his DNA or genetics, that he's a walking time bomb. So he told every villain, or he told All for One to tell all the villains that be on high alert. Don't do anything stupid. Why? As All for One asks. Well, as he explains that there's this kid today that I told him that he was quirkless, but he does have a quirk, but not in. And he doesn't just have a quirk, he has powers inside of his genetics. So when I told him that he was quirkless, he only has, because the quirk doctor could see into saw this many times over. Kind of like, or actually, yeah. Let's say, yeah. So that's on one side, the villain side. But Sir Night Eyes sees into the future thing, as he sees what would happen if, as he says, this kid, his name's Zuko Midoriya, and he'll be the one to destroy all of us. As really? As Bubble Girl says, you're never failed to see what would happen. Well, I see that, as he explains what he has a time limit on So, Zuko was abandoned, Sir Night Eyes came and picked him up. He doesn't know what to do. He never... So, when they... So, this is very important. Or, you are more important than anyone I ever met, Zuko Midoriya. How do you know me? Well, I have seen your future. And I'll just say that you'll die from if we don't help you. Helps me with what? Your genetics, or genetics, and has its own, or you have powers and quirks inside your DNA or genetic code. And I saw like what would happen if you died. And so then so Zuko went to UA, and so they built a suit for him so that to siphon off some of that powers. But Zuko, told himself that basically when Zuko, his powers, or when he used his own power to like split himself into two separate, like, split personality thing to keep him from ever going to the or to like basically during daytime he's more of a calm, happy person, but at night he's ruthless murderer thing. Or anywhere that's dark. So, that will slow down the, time, or so that to keep himself a little bit longer. As Mr. Azal, as everybody agrees that and so so at age of 4, or actually at age of 6, it was time for him to choose basically a faction. And he chose the 2 people, or he actually chose or Sir Night Eyes faction, because he knows the power and pain of Zuko's going through. Oh, so yeah. So then as so then yeah. So and he's only at age of 6 years old. And he chose his first ever foundation, like basically internship, basically. And he is so he's the youngest one. But with that much power Zuko has, he's qualified for it. So yeah. So a time skip to 15. And Zuko's is like basically they tried like to siphon off all of that extra power so that the yeah. So his power could power up the nuclear power plant and run it for years, like 50 years into the future, basically. Yeah. So, yeah. And so then his sister, his friends went to UA, or actually went to the same school as him. As so Zuko was the most popular kid in the entire world, or in the entire school. Because he's the first one to be recruited by a pro hero to go to UA. And, yeah, as many people talking about him. Like, as basically Zumi quietly mutters to herself about, like, I hope my brother's not gonna be here. As the Zuko was there, but he was in the control room. As his powers were, as he was a adult, or basically at this point, because how much power was siphoned off, made his body age up faster than the average human, So he looks like an adult. And so then robot testing, Zuko, so Mushroom Girl turns and looks at Zumi, and she says, "You kind of remind me of Zuko." As Zumi is like, he's actually my twin brother. You said he's your brother? Yeah, twin brother. That's so cool. As everybody's like, basically telling her that your brother is the first person that actually was the youngest one, as everybody talks about him all the time. So, time skip. Izuku was in Class 1A as basically, not a substitute teacher, but he's more of a para. Like, he helps Mr. Ozawa to deal with class. So then, as Mr. Ozawa says, okay, Zuko will demonstrate he needs us to siphon off some of that power. As he throws it like a wrecking ball thing. Like he threw it across. When he threw it, it was infinity. The machine said infinity. So then, the big three knows that Zuko's powerful. So, yeah. So then he does siphon off all of his power. So then the time skip to, Zuko was basically pretty handy around, and so me, walks up to her brother after school and tells him that how did you get in or be so popular with the rest of them? Well, as he tells Zumi that what name inside of his DNA there's or in his genetics is basically a powers and abilities that are too unstable. So then the time skip to All For One versus All Might. So All For One was down, but All Might was down, but All Might, or no, not All For One. I meant All Might was down. All For One says any last words? Yeah. But she took you so long, Dark. And then, who's Dark? As All For One turns around, in what he sees is a cruel, white hair, black eye, or black on the outside, red on the inside. And he looks just like that. As he says, sorry it took so long, All Might. As he basically straight up kills All For One in an instant. As he helps All Might up. As he did absorb All Might's pain. Like reversing him back. To like Prime version. But then it was finally time. Like time's up for him. And no fireball, please. No Dr. Pepper. It's too early. So, yeah. So basically, Zuko, as Zuko goes, as All for One sees these sparks coming off of Zuko, but not like them, because he wasn't a one that, yeah, or it's similar but more dark colored version. As Zuko is like, oh, I guess it's time for me. I guess my time is up. So, and All for One knows what it means. And Zuko teleported himself home to the beginning of the universe. And when, as the explosion, as Zuko exploded, and it was the Big Bang. Yeah. So Zuko died that fateful day. And it was so loud, louder than anyone. And All for One, as Zumi can't believe it. Or it was so loud that even an explosion. And she can't, like, bear the. As she basically can't imagine living in a world where Zuko dies. Or her brother doesn't. Or she lives without her brother. Is like, she can't handle the pain. As Bakugo, Todoroki, Ochako, Momo, rest of them of Class 1A, including the pro heroes, knew that Zuko died that fateful day. As, yeah, it's a sad day for everybody. You could hear the raindrops over Zuko's stone. But then, so after the grave thing, Zuko ends up. So, he did come back to life. Form of. Because when he removed his. So, when he took away his curse before the explosion, he created a whole new universe. And in that same, or in the Zuko's basically came, so yeah, and the him as he, or as Homine from this What If universe apologized to Zumi about like her loss and we tried everything to save your brother from dying and all that stuff. So then the So then a time skip to overhaul thing. As all for what, or so overhaul is like, you should have died with your brother. As they hang. So the all for one, or no, overhaul just like went down with his big monster hand about to crush Zumi and Ares. But out of nowhere, the out of the blink of an eye, and guess who it was? It was none other than, let me find a picture. Oh, no. I still. And, oh, here it is. So, as a monster came out of nowhere, grabbed the hand of Overhaul before it crushed Zumi and Ares. And guess who it was? It was Doomsday. Hey, Zuko. As he's holding Overhaul's massive hand, as he says to Overhaul, you will not hurt our little sister like that. As many alternate versions came through the portal. Oh no. Like, I mean, every alternate of Zuko's was like, came down. The entire army of every alternate Zuko from the multiverse. And everybody was shocked. Like, Momo was shocked. Ochako. And, like, everybody was shocked. But what was the most shocking thing was when they saw Zuko, their Zuko, whom, with the green hair, and he still had that, like, combined powers. As every... So, all of his alternate versions came and helped him. And, like, basically, then we're like, man, the entire nation just came in out of nowhere and they all, like, attack, boom, boom, boom. And all for one, or Overhaul is getting beaten down. By a tribe of Zukus. And when Overhaul was on the ground, basically, and all of them went back to their worlds. So the Ice Dragon Zuko was like, it's a good job on doing that. So then they, yeah, except for their Zuko, he stayed behind, as he was like, huh. As Zumi, he looks right at her brother, as she can't believe that he really came back from the dead. As she ran right up to him and hugged him. And yeah, as he knew that as he tells Zumi, you can't get rid of me that easily. So he smiles at them and like all that stuff. So yeah. And part of the script that this was scripted by, of course, by me, first of all, he was supposed to, like, during the overhaul fight thing, Zuko's tells All Might that after, like, overhaul was defeated, that there was cracks in Zuko's face, as it was supposed to be like blinding light, like one of those movie characters where they just like were explosions, kaboom. Yeah. So then yeah. So yeah, Zuko was not very, yeah. Hey, that's good. But Sir Nine says, man, how did you survive that explosion? Like I said, you can't get rid of me that easily. So then, so now, because his power, after he exploded, all of his remains, like his ashes, came back together and created a new body for him. And as he has a quirk of the entire universe. So, yeah, the entire universe. Earth. As his quirk. So he can either go into the alternate timeline where he already exists, or like he could borrow their powers and do all that stuff. So so yeah, please have a good night or day, depends on the time zones, and have a good, or I said that twice, but yeah. Hold on. There you go. Now, yeah. So, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, turn on the subtitles before this video starts, and hit that little bell. Peace.